Hey guys, we're going to talk about riding scooters, and I want to do the offensive driving course. Maybe the guys can film it when we do the Cambodia summit. That would be good because it's very learning to really drive. Even the most just decrepit, falling apart vehicle with one hand and a dog balance between your legs, and a bag full of groceries and just madness in front of you and slippery roads and dirt everywhere and trucks going sideways, people driving on the wrong way of the road, wrong side of the road, cops, trying to avoid cops as best you can, no helmet, no gloves, no, just shorts because it's too hot to wear pants. And to be able to navigate in that scenario is what I mean by riding a bike. Like, riding a bike is not passing a U.S. driving course. You know what I mean? It's like, that's like ridiculous.
Okay.
You know, and I'm going to tell how I learned, and Dave's got some pointers there, some background here.
Well, yeah, I just have one point of contention that in Cambodia, they're on motos. It's like the land of motos, especially a long time ago. It was only motos. Like cars are kind of somewhat a recent phenomenon here. Like,
how many years do you think the cars?
Well, I mean, they've been here, but I
for the average, kind of.
Maybe 15 years.
Okay.
So it was like, so 25 years ago, it was like it was like all motos, like all motos, couple cars.
When we came here, yeah.
Yeah. And then 20 years ago, more cars, 15 years ago, more cars. Now it's like, it's a pretty even mix. It's still a lot of motos, but also a lot of cars, right? But anyway.
But when you say cars, you mean Priuses. Everybody's driving a fucking Prius.
Mostly Priuses, yeah. First it was like, right, mostly Priuses, with now more cars coming.
Oh, they're branching out.
Yeah, you can
beyond the Prius.
You'll see like another car, like for every 10 Priuses, you'll see another car.
Oh yeah,
and that ratio is growing in favor of other cars. Other cars are starting to show up.
Well, what I see too is a lot of basically homemade cars with a motorcycle drive, like as the basic engine. So the car motorcycle, like they weld like a pickup around a motorcycle, like we saw yesterday. Like there's a lot of that too.
I want to get one of those.
Like a motorcycle.
I like
car.
those.
Yeah.
Those
motorcycle
are pretty cool.
truck. Yeah.
Like a motorcycle truck.
Yeah, they're very practical. You can carry a lot of stuff on there. And they're made with lightweight steel, you can tell.
I just think they look cool too,
Fuck yeah, they look like go-karts of the old days.
Right?
We could make a go-kart company here that would kick ass back home. Because it would look like a fucking go-kart. You don't want a computer-designed go-kart. Man, you want like half an inch from the ground, Sears, Roebuck.
I've seen very fast electric go-karts that they give their kids, where I'm surprised another child hasn't been killed yet in the park. Like, have you seen them zipping around on those things?
No.
There'll be like some like normal poor kid like on a pogo stick, or like walking around like with a kite that won't fly.
Right.
And then there's some kid on a souped up like go-kart where it's so fast and so good, it should just be in the street, but it's inside a small little park. Like, that's like...
When Dave says small, it's like the size of a large house.
Right, home. It's small. Yeah. All the kids are packed in there, because it's the one place they can go.
Everything is done there. Karate classes, dance classes...
so
people kiss their girlfriends. Like it's.
So you haven't seen it yet. You haven't seen it yet, but you'll see it. Like, so now there's like in there. There's like Indy 500 go karts.
Holy shit!
Zipping around high speed, like, and they're doing and barely missing other children, and everyone's like, okay, whatever. It's like just part of the new gestalt of playground life.
You're gonna now
in
have
Cambodia.
these crazy fast. Yeah, it's crazy, man. That's.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's a
I
little
think it's good for the kids, though. The kids
little
here
concerning.
are so resilient.
It's gonna hurt though. It's gonna hurt bad, man.
Someone's gonna get it.
Someone's gonna get nailed in the ankle so hard, dude. It's gonna break. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Like I was like worried, like shit could hit me in the ankle. Fucking hurt, man.
Oh yeah. Well, how old are the kids driving?
5, 6, like fully incapable of any judgment.
Oh.
Very young.
Oh my god.
Very young and in very high speed go-karts.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like kind of like, holy shit. I was like, this is, so it sort of offended, like I felt very American and concerned watching.
Right.
I felt like a very concerned American.
I've seen your American come out like last
It'll come out once in a while.
Yeah.
I try to suppress it, but every now and then I'm forced to be American and look and be like, that's really fucking irresponsible.
Like you wanted to let somebody in front of us driving in traffic?
Yeah, there was
it
was like a very bad traffic jam where it was like people were trying to funnel through one space and my American kicked in. I was like, oh, we should take turns.
Yeah.
Like you go and then I go.
Luckily, your wife was there to clean it up.
Yeah, then the Cambodian was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't let him go. I was like, oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, my American was like, oh, so that'll happen here. So back to the thing about driving a moto with one hand. Like my Americanness, kicked in. I can drive with one hand on a moto.
Yeah.
But how great, am I? I'm not as good. I'm okay, but I get concerned. Like I remember one time, like when I had like a 2-year-old, or like when my son was first born. Like everybody drives around here in motos, and nobody wears helmets. So right there, I'm a little bit like, but I accepted. I was kind of like, okay, sure. It's Cambodia.
Yeah.
Don't be too American, like, because almost any normal American would be like, motorcycles, helmets, and babies. Okay, so I was like, all right, I can roll with it. I'm like,
the heat is also a factor.
But then also
helmets are hot.
But the problem for me though, where I finally drew the line was like, whenever I get on the motorcycle, the baby would like to fall asleep and then sort of try to fall off the moto in traffic. So I'd be like, so then I would try to
Would you have the baby in front?
Well, I'd have to. Like if I had it, I'd have to do that. Because like if the baby was on the back, he just would slip and fall off.
Right.
So like that. So that almost happened. So it was like where I was like kind of yelling, like barking at him, like stay awake, stay awake. He's like, I can't, I'm falling asleep.
Right.
Because I'm 2, I'm 3, and I'm like, I'm like, get with the program, wake up, god damn it, You're half Cambodian, fucking wake up, And he's like, no, I can't, I'm sorry, I'm falling asleep. I'm like, oh fuck, okay, get move him in the front, right?
Yeah.
So now I move him in the front. And I'm driving, so now I have to drive one hand, right? Because I have to hold him and drive.
So you got one hand, yeah.
I got one hand holding him.
Yeah.
And you'll see this all over Cambodia. So you'll see, like, fathers and...
Sure.
So you see all over Cambodia parents holding an infant, driving with one hand, no helmet. And that's also, like... common in Cambodia.
Yeah.
So the problem with it being common...
Flip-flops.
Yeah, you don't... Yeah, of course flip-flops. Yeah. No, yes, flip-flops. Nobody's wearing like chaps.
Right.
Unless you're like...
The YMCA is not
unless you're very rich, like certain kind of flame.
Yeah.
There's always a flame wearing chaps somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But they're not wearing here for motorcycle safety, okay?
Oh, it's more for,
it's
easy access.
Right. It's more like a flame-wearing chaps.
Yeah, sure.
And stilettos. It's no...
It's got a purpose. It has a purpose.
Right. It's pragmatic. It's a pragmatic flame-wearing chaps. But here, they don't do it, okay, for safety. All right? So, anyway... I'm driving a baby, So finally my Americanism starts to kick in, where I'm like, so I'll say to my wife, I'll be like, I almost like want to pull over or do something. I'm kind of like feeling like I need to do something because for me it's a little challenging. Like my one-handed driving skills with a baby in traffic when the baby's falling asleep, where I'm like, oh fuck, like I feel a little like I almost feel like I need to say something to my wife, like I think this is a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
Like I might need to pull over, or I might need something to like tie the baby in, or I might get a tuk-tuk, or like I might park the moto. Like I don't feel like confident enough to like drive the baby home one-handed. Like I might, and like and right
but,
there,
but
right
now
there,
you do.
but,
Now
but,
you got it down.
Right, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
but now I've got it down because I learned, because right there my manhood, like I was fully chastised, where I was like, the wife was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Just drive. Yeah. Like everyone here can drive one-handed with a baby, no helmet. Yeah. Like come on, like Are you not a man? Like, so my manhood got a little challenged where I was like, oh fuck, like
gotta learn this, yeah.
Like that's a skill, like that's a third world skill, like something about that, like not letting other people, like you have to be kind of. There's just something about it where I was a little like, oh okay, I was like a little like. So anyway, that's my one story. She's generally pretty. I'm sure I could have talked to her about it, and she's not a bitch or anything. It's just kind of like she just that was her reflex.
Yeah,
her reflex was like, huh, what? Because it's so normal.
Right.
It's so common and normal here to drive one-handed with the baby in traffic with the baby trying to fall off.
Yeah, yeah.
That they're just like, what are you, putt? Like, what are you, like a fucking retarded, like ballless putz that you can't fucking do it,
Right.
So I was like,
it's a skill that is developed.
Right. Now I have it.
Okay, you got it now. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I've been driving babies around one-handed, no helmet, with flip-flops in traffic now for years.
You're right.
My babies, other babies. It's just like what they do here.
Right.
And if you can't do it, they look at you like, you could just be like a useless alcoholic man, like that just drinks all day, beats the woman, and brings in no money.
Yeah.
And they'll think like you're sort of okay. But not if you can't drive a baby one-handed in flip-flops. Like you could, like they're just like, even the drunk guys can drive babies around one-handed in flip-flops, no helmet.
Right. Well,
and they're like, that's a man.
Yeah.
That beats them and doesn't provide any money and like just leaves them for like.
That's an interesting, very politically incorrect topic. But driving drunk. I drove drunk a lot before I went to AA, right?
That's a problem here, and and here at least I know, like I broached the topic here, and I was kind of like a little bit concerned. Like I thought, am I being a little too American talking about the drunk driving? Like you can see it on. Luckily, it's like you can see it. It's like because they all kind of do everything at the same time. I mean, there'll be like an isolated drunk driving incident.
Yeah.
Every night, it's on the news. And people don't like it when somebody drunk like plows into like 20 people. Like that will get them angry,
Oh, that's like way over the line here. You cannot.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You can do whatever you want as long as you don't hurt somebody.
You don't kill somebody.
But if you're doing that,
you're starting to like kill villagers. They get very angry.
The problem is not what you're doing. The problem is that you hurt somebody.
Yeah, and they're not even really going to,
Which is much more actually realistic.
Right, but drinking and driving is a problem here. Drinking is a problem here, just in general, but whatever about that,
But I want to say
it is a problem everywhere.
When I was drinking, I was known by my friends as the guy who could drive drunk.
Right.
So my friends would always have me drive.
Probably driving a one-handed moto might have lent itself to that. And that maybe riding a unicycle, having balance, because the whole driving drunk thing, like putting one... Because I used to do that thing like where you put up a hand, you drive one-eyed.
Yeah.
Because you're double vision. So
you one-eyed, yeah.
You have like double vision, so you block out one eye with one hand and drive with one hand, so you can see one road instead of twos. I mean, that was the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Things were back, that was back when cigarettes and cocaine were still good for you.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s.
Sure, doctors would recommend. I used to, I remember one time we went to Mexico, Tijuana, and we were driving up to Orange County. We lived in Orange County. So we went down to Mexico with me and my girlfriend, Judy, and then my friend with his girlfriend, who was Judy's friend, right? So we all four went down there, and we went to Revolution Boulevard, and we just started down in the tequila, right? So
right.
I said that...
But the tequila hits better on Revolution Boulevard, right?
Oh, it does back then,
Start pretending like you're a Castro or something.
Oh, we were in the early bars.
I guess you should be drinking rum if you're a Castro, right? Tequila, right.
Tequila,
okay,
man.
Yeah.
And so they had no idea of money, like concepts of money. Yeah, back then in Mexico, we're talking in the early 80s, right? They didn't, like, money was not a... So all you'd have to do is tell the bartender is that you like it stronger. You want more tequila. And then he would start laughing because he was drunk off his ass. And he would just pour a whole extra bottle in your pitcher of daiquiris. You know, he'd just pour a whole nother pitcher, a whole bunch of bottles.
Just a little bit more, sir.
Yeah, and he'd be laughing like,
a little bit more.
Tequila, just pouring it in there.
Can you top this off for me, man? Another bottle.
Right, just a little bit more than another bottle, right? So we were absolutely demolished, right? So we walked. Did I drive down to Mexico? I must have driven through the border. Yeah, I drove through the border. Yeah, I had to because I had my parents' car. I had my '72 Ford LTD. So we somehow didn't get arrested that time because they'd always arrest you for nothing. Like they're just shaking you down, right? But for some reason that night nothing happened. So we drove. We parked the car.
Oh, good to third world police shakedowns.
Yeah.
I've been through one of those in a long time. We remember how we just barely avoided those. Back in the day.
Yeah. So I got in the car and we were so drunk we couldn't walk, right? And so somehow we all got in the car, and then it's my job to drive home. So I start driving the car, and we're so drunk that my friend keeps vomiting everywhere in the car and then outside the car. So there's a stripe along the car.
That's a telltale giveaway.
Yeah, there's like a racing stripe. So he's like totally wasted. And then he starts making out with his girlfriend in the back seat.
Nice.
She's heard.
Guys got Riz.
Tony was hot. Tony had a fucking rag. So, definitely she was hot. So she's vomiting and they're making out. And I would look in the mirror, the rearview mirror, and he would be later was like vomiting, making out the back seat. And I'm thinking,
nice.
God, I wish I could do that, but I got to drive. So I'm driving up the 5. I remember, like literally, this is no exaggeration. I was so wasted that staying on 6 lanes of freeway was totally impossible. So what I would do is I would drive up.
Should be manageable in 6 lanes.
Yeah, I would go up the embankment, like running over trees and stuff.
Oh, shit.
In this old car, heavy car.
Right.
And then be back, and then I would just about to hit the inside of the visor, like on the dirt on that side, the left side. And then I would spin the car, and we'd go sideways, and then we would hit the thing again. Then I had to spin around the wheel the other way.
Right.
And then, because I could still stunt drive drunk. I just couldn't drive in a straight line.
Good, you had a heavy car.
Yeah, I could, So that car was a bulletproof. So we drove home like that and didn't get caught. And I remember, it was like 2 hours later we got home.
Well, they didn't used to pull people over for drunk driving. Like
it wasn't a big deal, yeah.
No,
So I got back to the house and I thought, okay, it's been like 2 hours now since we stopped drinking, right? I must be a little bit sober. And then I went to park along the curb and I went over the curb, bam, into my mom's garden.
Nice.
And just went all through the garden, right? And I was like, oh my God. I thought, if you're still this wasted that you can't even park on the curb, like don't even move the car. Just leave it here, because if you even move one more minute, because I have this belief
you're going to drive it into the living room.
Well, no, I said I was no cops.
Oh, you're finally getting concerned for police?
Yeah, because I could see that I wasn't going to hurt anything in the garden, so I went in the garden, was fine.
Right.
Like I had this instinct not to. I knew what I could do or couldn't do.
Right.
Right. And so I could protect us somehow, but I couldn't. The cops were going to get me. So I thought, even one more minute, like all that noise of going through the garden and trees and stuff,
right,
I probably could, a neighbor might, who knows, right? So I just parked the car in the garden, and then we went up in the house and went to sleep. And that was me driving drunk. And that happened many times. One time I was driving my motorcycle drunk, and I was so drunk that I was on Ortega Highway driving down there, and I knew I was too drunk. So I was going around a corner, and I knew I was going to go into the canyon, right? down 100 feet into the river, right? So I chose where there was a branch, and I deliberately drove into a branch that caught me in the chest. And then I bam, off my bike, and then that woke me up. And then I was sober enough to drive. Luckily, my bike just went down the hill not too far. And then I got back on the bike and drove back home and got home safely, right? But I used the branch as a brake. But I tell you, a branch hitting you at like 20 miles and 30 miles, it really hurts, man. The branch, it's like a shock to the system. But
Yeah.
I learned to drive that way. And also, the other thing is, with the one-handed thing, how I really learned to drive was one day, I had this crazy, I didn't have a surf rack on my motorcycle. So I was going to go surfing. So I grabbed my board, which was a short board. It was not that long. But still, it was probably 5'11". Yeah, probably a 5'11". So that catches wind. Like if you had like a 5'7", 5'6", the wind, not very much. But a 5'11" is big enough. And they were thick back in the day. Even though I had it custom made, it was pretty thick. So I got on my bike. I thought, okay, I'll drive down one-handed, thinking it was no big deal. But it was a windy winter day. And as soon as I got on the bike, the wind just pulled me to the side. I almost ate shit.
Right.
And then I thought, okay, you got to learn how to do this. Because otherwise you can't surf. You're fucking retard. So I just grabbed my right hand because I have an automatic clutch on the CT70. So there's no... I got this bike new, so I couldn't... Before I always had a clutch, right? Now I got no clutch. So I can ride one-handed, right? So I grabbed the right hand and I just did this stone steel hold.
Good workout. Good core workout.
Yeah, and then I got the brake only
Or
on
at
one
least
side.
for one side of your core. It's you're hitting the right side of the core.
Yeah, I just there's no way that thing was getting out of my hand. And the wind could go, because what it does is you go around corners and the wind catches your board the other direction. So you can't brace against the wind. You got to be ready for anything. Because the wind just comes from the back, comes from the front, comes from the side, left side, comes from the right side. So I went down to the beach, and I was very proud of myself that I didn't crash. Because that first day, I almost crashed 10 times on the way down to the ocean.
Right.
And then from then on, I learned this snaky ability to be flexible yet strong and one-handed riding. And I think that was what actually was the key thing that taught me how to ride here in the third world. Was that one-handed surfboard ride.
Right. The end stage with all this is when you learn riding one-handed, especially in the third world. If you're not holding a baby, eventually you can hold a beer on a motorcycle. So I did that for years, because I was back when I was, because I was drinking Dave. So for years, I was the guy driving around on the moto, one-handed, holding a beer. Everywhere I went, because they don't mind that, So
you're just having a beverage, yeah.
Just always a beer,
Relax.
And now the baby's grown up, so you can stand there. You don't have to hold him, So or sitting on the back, not falling off, and just.
So you got the beer, kid on the back,
one-handed, yeah. Everywhere you go,
Oh no!
And even that won't draw any criticism from a woman here. If you're driving around one-handed with their baby and a beer,
as long as you don't crash,
they're just it likes to drink.
Yeah,
he's strong. Yeah,
strong.
He likes beer.
Yeah,
just
Right.
He likes beer.
Some guys like fishing.
Some guys drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
Some guys drink a lot of beer.
Right.
So
right.
I got no absolute no one said I was kind of I was a little I thought police don't care. So there's no. So if you, so that was me for years. Until I had to quit drinking. Yeah.
Wow, that's a great story, man. I think it all goes to the thing is that you have to protect yourself. Hey, how you feeling? Hey. I think that's the thing is you learn to protect yourself here, and you learn to do things, and you don't need all these rules. What you need is multiple skills. You need to increase your athleticism and your acuity, and you just learn to do it somehow. And I think that's one thing in the West that they don't have. They, like, because they're so protected by the law and by safety standards, is that people just basically become retarded. And it's sad because there's two ways to go. There's like the overregulation where you end up with a retarded populace, basically. No balance. Like, there's people walking down the street in the States that are so overweight, they can't even go up a flight of stairs without falling down. You see the YouTube videos. They're just like falling downstairs.
Right. They got those like they got those things to carry people up the stairs now.
Well, that's a direct result of the end result of not having to do it yourself.
Right.
And then you have the other thing with kids driving 40 miles an hour in a 40-foot park in a Chinese souped-up electric go-kart at 6 years old. And it's. I think I choose the rough way for myself. You got to choose. There's no middle ground.
Right.
It's like I choose the rough way.
Put on your chaps and choose the rough road.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Just do it. Just fucking do it. I think that's the way to do it. I think the kids here eat spicy food. The kids here know how to ride bikes. The kids here know how to ride motorcycles. And it's very good. It's very good.
Right.
Because everybody's very self-sufficient. Kids know how to carry a 50-pound water bottle. Right.
We have a 6-year-old right here.
Yeah.
Bella, are you scared? You see a big dog outside? Are you scared? No, right? You like dogs, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just been trying to teach you, like, don't put your face right up to the dog.
Right. Because you don't know.
You don't really know.
Because every dog's a different personality.
You're good. You're good.
That's good.
Be careful around the big dogs.
Yeah.
Though she's good at befriending. She befriends all animals.
Oh, because they're like the animal whisperer. Yeah.
She's like the dog whisperer.
Right. Yeah. I took Boogie walking this morning, so Boogie's okay.
Right.
Yeah, he's cruising.
So we have to hit the bakery?
Yeah, we need raisin bread, man.
Okay.
That's like the key ingredient around here in the morning. So let's go. Well, there you go. That's the safety philosophy. And I really believe that. I believe that you need the hard road. That's how you become a capable person. And there is risk, and there will be carnage from this learning process.
Yes, no, and there's everybody here, and there are consequences. There's an argument for
Sure.
there's an argument. There's always two sides to the argument, because you can people do get injured. There is like collateral damage.
Yeah.
There's a guy across the street from where I live. Everybody knows like the guy that like crashed his moto, but he was probably just being like, a lot of these guys are just full irresponsible, like zip. I don't know if I should call them zipper heads, but zip heads, whatever they are, like greaseball, young greasers on motos driving way too fast, and everybody hates them. So they're sort of collectively hated because they make it so dangerous for everybody,
right?
But it's just like a rite of passage, like because people are underaged on motos too, so there's 9 and 10. You see 11-year-old fucking guys on motos and I used to do it too. So we used to do it back in we used to joyride on bikes and be irresponsible.
Yeah, of course.
Here they're just right out in the middle of life and in traffic, so
picking up cigarettes for the dad.
Picking up cigarettes for the dad at home,
Yeah.
They're driving around one-handed, So it's like flip-flops, so
10.
So
10 years old.
there is some danger, but they're on a moto, so generally they just hurt themselves. Though you see accidents here, and I saw some girl get run. I saw a girl get knocked down by a moto just the other day, but since it's a moto, she got up.
Right.
So it's
Right.
kind
It's
of
not
like
a car, yeah.
So the people here all have scars, and they all like to talk about them, and they're all like moto scars.
Okay.
It's my wife's got 5, so
Right,
it's
right.
all, any hot fire cat's got any fire cat worth her salt is going to have a moto scar, So they're all scarred up from moto accidents. They all laugh about it. They're like, "Yep, the Cambodia," but there's a dark side to it all. Because they also don't care about somebody dies here, they're quickly forgotten. It's like, oh, because they have all had they're all my wife's, it's typical for somebody to come from a family of 13, where 10 died and 3 survived. So they're like, oh, yeah, I have 10 dead brothers and sisters. And they laugh about it.
He's not happy.
I don't know. You're strong.
Okay.
That's why.
So there's
She's carrying a watermelon.
Yeah.
See, that's a perfect example. She's carrying a watermelon.
All right,
6 years old.
Yeah, okay.
No problem.
School starts after my second cup of coffee. Hold that thought, okay? But anyway, there's a dark side. If you live somewhere and you look long enough, you can see everything, And right across the street from us, I can show you.
Yeah.
There's a guy that lives across from my bedroom window. I'm up 3 stories, and there's a guy across the street from me up 3 stories. And for the longest time, I thought he was some evil meth dealer.
Yeah.
Because he never leaves the house.
Oh, okay.
Which is a style here of for drug houses. If there's that place where they store drugs.
Oh, okay.
Usually they have somebody in the house
All the
who
time.
watches all the time and never leaves the house, or he'll get killed. Because they don't ever want the guy leaving the house.
Right, because so he looks like that.
He's right. So I thought, oh, this is a drug house.
Yeah.
Because there's some guy in there that never leaves the house.
Yeah.
Look at
Let me finish my thought. Isabel, cone of silence. Cone of silence.
1 second.
All right, you're in the cone of silence. Okay. All right.
Watch
No,
this.
Bella. Shh. Bella, zip it. Bella, zip it. Okay. Now this guy across the street.
Yeah.
Turns out he's not watching a meth house. He actually was in a moto accident years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And got paralyzed.
Oh.
So he was one of these guys that
Paralyzed.
Yeah, so it happens.
Wow.
You think the thing is, you think there's no
Yeah.
You think with the so my Americanism is a little bit sometimes just I feel a little bit what's the right word? I feel a little bit I feel justified or whatever it is. I feel
Yeah.
So inside my inside I quietly chuckle to myself as an American, see it down. But anyway, I'm right.
Yeah.
Better to be right than to be happy, and I'm kind of thinking I'm right, but
I think
but there's nothing I can say or do about it. But people will acknowledge that it's an issue, and people do get hurt, they do get crippled, and so and there's no insurance or safety net, or you might collect a few dollars, but anyway, this guy lives across the street. The happy ending to the story is that he seems to have danced his way back to being able to walk again.
Wow.
But he's never been outside, but his mother, they take care of him and bring him everything to eat. And he can't, and you've seen the guy across the street, Isabella, who likes to dance every day, right? There's a guy so the doctor just said you'll never walk again, but try to stay home and dance. At dawn and at dusk. And so his old mother goes out there with him to dance with him. And you'll see them. I thought they were crazy, so I would go out there and look at them, and and the guy was always fascinated with me because he never goes outside. So I'm the only
one foreigner in the world,
the one foreigner in the world. I'm the only ever person that goes up there and checks him out, and he checks me out because there's nothing else to do for him.
Yeah.
But he's out there every day dancing away. And now he can finally sort of dance on 2 feet, So it's taken him 10 years, to come back from being fully.
We should get him in the pool. I'll teach him how to swim. Swimming is the best thing for guys like that.
Yeah.
I'll be there but it's.
I'll show him to you, but I don't know if they're. Yeah, I don't know.
If I can get him in the
he
water,
looks like a
changes
criminal.
life.
He looks like a full derelict criminal. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
sure. Yeah.
Okay, you should take a look at him. I don't know if you're really
Yeah.
going to want to take him swimming,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I could
you
take
should
some.
take a good look at him.
It's amazing what swimming does for people.
I think just come upstairs and appreciate his interpretive dancing skills.
Okay.
You know, and like it's a good start. Just start there.
Right. Anyway, we can translate that. I'll take him in the pool if he wants to. But
Right.
so, like, I think you bring up a good point to end the video. Is that I'm kind of happy too that there are different. There's always like a left and a right. Right. There's always different views on things. There's like should be more careful. Should be more adventurous. Right. Should be more and more adventurous. Should be more and more careful. You know, there's always these two sides of humans. Right. And there's a good reason for that. And I think you're right. Like, I'm kind of glad that there's countries that aren't like Cambodia that I can visit, you know. So I like to see both is basically what I'm saying. Like, I lean towards I can learn anything. If I die, it's my fault. Like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to survive. I lean towards that side. And that is what really has made me into the person I am, right? Because it's challenged me, right? But I also understand there's some people that no matter how hard they try, they just can't survive, right? And I still like them and they're my good friends, right? So I do recognize that part of it is a gift that you either have or don't. The average person can improve, but there's also genetic basic ability of things, right? And some people they have ability to pull stuff off even better than other people, right? So if you're on the extreme end of that, you're going to like, you know, things to be wild. And if you're not, on the other side, you're going to be more careful, right? And I think also it's the feminine and masculine. Because women are more careful. Mothers tend to protect the children, and fathers get the children to climb the tree, to swim the river, to take chances. And that's balance in the children. Is they get challenged, protected by the mother. Don't do that. It's dangerous. And the father's like, yeah, go do it. And that's the balance. That maybe we need both, right?
Right.
That's like the ultimate balance for us.
Okay, and Isabel, I've had my second cup of coffee, so now I can address all your questions regarding the weight of watermelons, okay? All right?
She's thinking about something. What you thinking about?
Why is the watermelon not heavy? I thought it was pretty heavy.
Because you're strong. That's why.
Teach you about gravity. You know, this watermelon and this, you know, the watermelon's heavy, Isabel, and this toothpick's pretty light. But, you know, if I drop them side by side, they'll hit the ground at the same time. Did you know that? You want to learn about that?
The watermelon is gonna.
Oh, it's gonna
the watermelon's,
it's gonna explode.
watermelon's
Yeah.
going to explode.
We could
Right.
drop one just to see it.
Right.
That'd be fun.
No.
Let's do it.
Or,
What?
or we could throw it on the ground.
You're always complaining about having watermelon to eat. You just want to like drop one outside and explode it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
okay.
could eat the pieces.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. Well, some of the pieces will be clean, right?
Daddy. How about this? We put something on the ground
Oh, something to make it clean, like a plastic. Yeah.
and then we put it with rice.
Okay. What if we put Daniel laying down on the ground and throw it on him?
No, he's gonna hurt.
That's
Oh, she's very nice to her
yeah.
brother.
Can't do
Right.
that. I'm joking.
Right. Can't do that.
Yeah, we want a big piece of clean plastic, right? Or
And you
something
s-
like that. I think that's a good idea. We should try that.
And you sound sick. I'm going to get you medicine, okay?
Yeah.
Can you breathe? You sound like you can't breathe.
Okay, we're going to end this one. So there's the balance of life.
I can still breathe.
Thanks for listening, guys.